For this recipe, you're going to need 3 tablespoons of butter, 4 cloves of minced garlic, heavy cream, salt and pepper, basil, and nutmeg. The best part about this recipe is that it's this simple. I'm literally just going to melt some butter, add some garlic, a little salt, a little pepper. Then I'm going to add cream. We're going to bring that cream to a simmer, and we're going to reduce it, all right, to the thickness that we want to see. But that's really all you got to do. Once you get it close to the thickness you want it to be, we'll add the pasta in to the sauce, mix that all up, take it off the heat, then add Parmesan cheese. At that point, you're done. We'll dress it up with some basil and some nutmeg, and that's all she wrote. It's so simple. It takes all of 15-20 minutes. Even with prep time, it's a half an hour job. These seem a little bit long for this pot, so I'm going to break them in half. And we want to give this a stir so that those noodles do not stick together. I'm going to move this to a back burner. Move that around in the pan. Turn up the heat just a little bit. It's perfect for a weekday night when you don't really feel like cooking. You can make it for one person, you can make it for 10 or 15. It's just a matter of how much pasta do you boil, how much cream do you add, how far do you reduce it. All right, but it's literally one of the simplest recipes. And when you go to a restaurant, they charge in the neighborhood of $20 a plate for Fettuccine Alfredo. You know, sometimes they'll add a little chicken to it, but overall, it's something you can make at home for about, I'm estimating, maybe about $3-4 a plate. All right, at this point, I'm going to add garlic. Bring my heat up just a hair, and I add my garlic. Okay, I'm going to give that a little bit of zhuzh. And I'm going to add some salt and pepper. So, quick hit of salt. And a quick hit of pepper. I like quite a bit of pepper in my Alfredo. And you see it's starting to bubble. That's when we want to turn the heat down, not up. So way, way down. If it gets too hot, just take it off of the flame. When it gets to the point where it's not sizzling anymore, that's when I'm going to add my cream. I'm just going to finish this container that I have. Even though it's not that much, we're going to mix all this together and we're going to reduce the cream and the butter together. So we get that mixed. Nice low heat. If this gets too hot, it's going to break. So you don't want it to break because then it becomes an oily mess and nobody wants to eat that. Do not fall to the temptation of adding cheese at this stage. Adding cheese at this point would only make a sticky mess in your pan. And then as soon as it starts to simmer or bubble, that's when you want to keep stirring it. Because when it's bubbling, that means it's reducing. Reducing I always hear it in cooking terms. It just means you're boiling off some of the fluid. I'm doing all of this at the same time that I'm boiling my pasta. My pasta will be fine, and it'll probably be done at almost exactly the same time. It smells so good. I use a lot of garlic. I tend to use a whole lot of garlic. And this particular garlic came out of a friend of mine's. She's got a garden up in Rochester, New York. In fact, she's the person I think is going to like having this recipe the most, because she said her son really loves fettuccine Alfredo and orders it all the time when they go out to eat. And I said, well, you could make it for him and it won't cost you as much. Looking at the thickness, the way you determine the thickness is when you drag the spoon, or in my case spatula, across the bottom. How does it leave a line behind, and that will fill up? It's getting thicker, okay, because you're cooking off a healthy amount of the fluid. This has been cooking for a while. I'm going to take it off the heat for a little bit. Take it off the heat for a second. Keep stirring. Right, so it'll cool just a little bit. I don't want it to get too hot or it might break. And again, just keep on stirring. Yeah, that's probably pretty close to exactly what I want it to be right now. I'm getting big swaths in the bottom of the pan. And I'm going to turn it off. Turn it off. I'm going to get an implement to check my pasta. Make sure my pasta's done. Come on, one of you gets up here. That's al dente. Now I'm taking this pasta that I just made, and I'm going to add it directly to the pan. Okay, and then I'm going to stir this up in this sauce. Now I turned off the heat a little while ago because I was liking the way it looked. If I'd have let it cook a little bit longer, which I think I'm going to do, turn this way down. And if you let it cook for a minute or two, with the pasta in there, the starch from the pasta and the sauce will help it thicken even faster and even more. This is when you bring in the cheese. You turn the heat off entirely. This is when you add the cheese. So I've got some Parmigiano Reggiano, not in the green container from Kraft, but real Parmigiano Reggiano. You can find it at most stores these days. If you have to shred it yourself, shred it yourself. It's not hard. You take a handful and you spread it around, maybe another handful, right? And then you give that a stir. All right. This looks like an Alfredo I've had at restaurants before. Oh man, yeah, that's starting to look good. All right, at this point, there's nothing to do but plate it and eat it. Whoops, I don't know what that is, but I'm getting it out. Get all that nice sauce in there. Okay. Doesn't need any more salt. I would like to add some fresh basil to it, so hold on. Just a little on the top. And I'm gonna hit it with some fresh nutmeg. All right. Here you have it. A nicely made fettuccine Alfredo, or in this case spaghetti Alfredo. A little bit of basil and some nutmeg in there, salt and pepper. So creamy. It's a very clean, basic sauce. Absolutely delicious. Thank you so much for watching Blake's New York Kitchen. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and hope to see you next time.